I would like to call the Order Board of Education meeting for Tuesday, November 14th, 2023. We'll now move on to swearing in of the oath of office, sorry, for new trustee Vanessa Hernandez. Trustee Hernandez will be sworn in by Superintendent John Thompson.
Okay. Thank you. Come on around. All right. So I'll read and then you just repeat after me. Okay, are you ready? So I state your name.
I, Vanessa Hernandez,
Solemnly swear that I'll support and defend the Constitution of the United States
I solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
discharge the duties of which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations. All right, you're officially on the board.
Congratulations. Okay, are there any speakers related to closed session topics?
There are no speakers.
Okay, moving then on to, so the board will convene to closed session following a 30-minute recess for a farewell and.
We skipped. Sorry to interrupt. We have.
Yeah, I know. I mean, just from the script.
Okay.
And so we should do that one before we go into closed session.
Yeah, yes. Sorry.
That's what. Okay, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. So please rise. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Hernandez.
Hi.
Here.
Here.
Sorry.
Here.
Gonzalez.
Here.
Kumar.
Here.
Nishida.
Here.
Yes.
I was not going.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. I said
she didn't.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, may I have a motion, a second, to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Okay, moving on, we'll move on to the land acknowledgement. Who would like to read the land acknowledgement?
I can do that.
Trustee McLean.
We want to open up this meeting by acknowledging with respect and love that the land we are on today is the traditional ancestral homeland of the Ohlone Chochenyo First People. We recognize and thank the Ohlone people as the original stewards of this land. Indigenous people must not be spoken about in past context as if they left on their own accord when the real causes were white supremacy, manifest destiny, and US colonization. By recognizing we stand on the occupied indigenous territory of the Ohlone people, we recommit ourselves to listen to Native leadership, and stand in solidarity with people struggling against systems of oppression throughout the world, past and present.
Thank you.
Go to, yeah, to do that. Go to that.
Okay, the board is requested to, moving on to 3.1. The board is requested to recognize trustee Sean Mallory for their 3 years of commitment and dedication to students, staff, and community of the New Haven Unified School District. May I have a motion and a second to approve resolution 027-23224 in recognition of trustee Mel Schwen Mallory?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, for discussion, does somebody want to read the resolution? Okay, Vice President Kumar.
Whereas trustee Mel Schwen Mallory was elected to the New Haven Unified School District as board trustee in 2020. And whereas over the last 3 years, trustee Schwen Mallory has served as board president, board clerk, board representative to Mission Valley ROP, representative to the Mission Valley SELPA, representative to the Board of Education City Council Subcommittee, representative to the Alameda County School Board Association, representative to the Communication and Advocacy Committee, and representative to the Policy Review Committee. And whereas trustee Schwen Mallory believes in the value of a quality public education and has dedicated the last 3 years to ensure student success in our classrooms and community. And whereas trustee Schwen Mallory has completed the CSBA Masters in Governance training module. And whereas trustee Schwen Mallory has consistently researched programs and information as an elected official to vote for the highest public educational programs available. And whereas trustee Schwen Mallory believes that quality service for student success is paramount for the students of New Haven Unified. And whereas trustee Schwen Mallory has been an unwavering advocate for historically marginalized students, including our LGBTQIA+ students, and has promoted changes in policy and practice to make our schools welcoming places for all students. And whereas trustee Schwen Mallory was pivotal in bringing awareness of Narcan training and administration to the district. And whereas trustee Schwen Mallory supported safe schools by promoting a safe and nurturing learning environment and access to mental health services, as well as fiscal discipline and accountability to maintain quality programs and services. And whereas trustee Schwen Mallory maintained a collaborative connection with many community groups to better support the district. Therefore, be it resolved that the New Haven Unified School District expresses appreciation and commends trustee Schwen Mallory for their commitment, dedication, and contributions to the students, staff, and community of the district, and wishes their great success in all their future endeavors. Passed and adopted on this 14th day of November 2023 by the following board.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second on the table. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Abstentions? All right, motion carries. All right, at this point, I think we have a gift for trustee Schwen Mallory. We have a candy dish and some flowers. And the inscription reads, "In appreciation for your commitment, dedication, and service as board president, clerk, and trustee to the students and community from 2020 to 2023. All right. All right. Everybody's squeezing tight.
Are we, should we get,
There you go. Do we, is it better this way?
Yeah.
there we go.
Congratulations.
Wow. Okay. It seems, I'm just gonna stand over here because I don't want to turn my back to everyone here. Wow, I'm very emotional. It has been an honor for the last 3 years to serve on the Board of Trustees for New Haven Unified School District. We really are the best district in the Bay. Um, I've really enjoyed being on the school board and trying to be a voice for those who are often voiceless. And not just my own community of the LGBTQ community, but of our Dakota community. Of, those that are marginalized, such as our Black and brown students and those that are at risk. And I think that it's very important that that work continues and that we make this a district where everyone can feel a sense of belonging on our staff, in our student population, and our families. And I'm just so grateful for all of you for just, being such great colleagues and working together so well. Not every school district has such a functional board, and we really do. We have a bunch of amazing people up here who really care about all the families and all the students in our district and all of our teachers and so forth. And I'm very excited that Trustee Hernandez, I get to say that, Trustee Hernandez, I can be the first, is taking my place because she has that heart that, that we share that heart. We share a lot of desires and things in common. And I know that she will be a strong advocate for a community and that the seed of Area 2 is in good hands. And I'm just really grateful for all of this, and I'm gonna miss you guys, and I'm gonna miss being on the board and interacting with all of you. So, thank you.
Okay. So please join us for a short recess, after which after the 30-minute recess, the board will convene to close session. So thank you.
Yeah, right now we're kind of looking at Wednesday, Thursday night, Friday. I know.
No, we go on this side. Okay, I'll do one more.
Okay. Thank you.
Board will now convene open session and report out from closed session. Live streaming on YouTube will begin now for open session of the Board of Education meeting. The URL for the YouTube streaming link may be found on the NHUSC Board of Education webpage. While the boardroom is undergoing renovation, the board will continue to record and stream the board meeting, but we'll be using different equipment that it uses. If you are joining us via Zoom, the Zoom webinar, and you would like to provide public comment for this meeting, you may do so by utilizing the raise your hand option in Zoom. Or if you're calling in by phone, please press *9 and wait to be called on. Community members may still provide public comments to the board prior to each meeting via email at publiccomment@nhusd.k12.ca.us. There was one comment provided to the board for tonight's meeting via the public comment email address. I would like to remind the public that we will not be responding to questions posed by those making public comments. Relative to item 5.1, the board in closed session by unanimous vote voted to accept the settlement agreement with a district employee. Moving on to 7.1. How many speaking requests do we have for topics that are not on the agenda for both the video and in person?
Not on the agenda, we have 11.
Not on the agenda, we have 11. Okay, how about for Zoom?
No callers on Zoom, no speakers on Zoom.
So with 11, all right. All right, so to all speakers, thank you for taking your time to share your thoughts today. Speakers will be allowed a maximum of 2 minutes. Speakers exceeding 2 minutes will be asked to conclude the remarks. If in person, will be muted if on video conference. As a reminder, the board's role during this item is to listen and will not be interacting or commenting on topics raised here. Please call the first speaker.
The first speaker is Michael Gardner.
Hello, board members, Michael Gardner, new members, congratulations. I am speaking first. I need to apologize. Friday, when we were observing Veterans Day was also the Marines' birthday, and I meant to send a shout out to my friends and patriots who served in the Marines. Thank you for your service. I'm here specifically to tell you why my students are here. The week before daylight saving time changes, we spend a week reading articles for and against the change, history of how it happened, and also some of the political shenanigans to change the law. And then students have ways to assess their learning, writing mini essays, writing their congressman, or coming to speak here at the board. I'll have a number of students doing that. I've neglected to do this last school board meeting, but at every union meeting, every district meeting, every staff meeting, I always say this. I meant to say it last time. I did send an email, but I do it every time. The community feedback has been consistent that social and emotional learning is a priority for the citizens of the city and their school. One low cost, high impact way to do it is to reduce the caseload size of school psychologists and speech therapists who are the staff who are specifically trained to support. And so I hope when you're negotiating, directing your bargaining team, you will encourage them to consider reducing the caseload size. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Queen Woods.
My name is Queen Woods. Oh, do I go right now?
Yes.
But yeah, my name is Queen Woods, and I'm here to give you a 2-minute presentation about daylight saving times. If you don't mind, I would like to first tell you about how it exactly even exists. So it was created primarily to reduce energy consumption and promote commerce. I believe that the back and forth changes should continue. And my belief is because it's a year-round standard that aligns best with the natural day-to-night rhythm of the human body. So I feel like it would, it's just regular now. And I feel like the change right now would just be unnecessary. And for more, I feel like the daylight savings also means a lot to people because they have more time to do outside stuff like go shopping, go for a run. And yeah, that would conclude my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Okay, next we have Jude, and I'm sorry, Jude, I can't read your last name.
Hi, my name is Jude, and I'm here to talk about daylight savings. So daylight savings is really confusing, like all of us around here. And sometimes it's like mess up like our sleep. Like we had to like wake up early or we had to set our times back in an hour. And hold on. And sometimes like we do our daily routines, like we wake up, brush our teeth, go out, and we always get there like an hour early. And sometimes like I'm sorry. Sometimes that we have to like we always like ask people asking us like why you here early or why you here, something like that. And daylight sometimes like really mess us up, and then people around the world like why is it here or something. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Alexander Sanchez.
Hi, my name is Alexander Sanchez. I think daylight saving should continue because every year I feel like time goes by so fast because of daylight savings. But I know that daylight savings is a way to make a better daylight time. But since daylight savings exists nowadays, each year clocks go forwards or backwards. I believe when daylight savings happen, it also messes up when you like sleep or go to work because it skips an hour or something like that. And I think that it'll also help us for the human body to give us more energy during the day. But I feel like daylight savings is like a dumb thing. I think it should like kind of like stop because I feel like every day time goes by so fast because of daylight savings. And thank you so much. I'm done.
All right.
Next speaker.
Next speaker, I think it's Angelina. I think it's that right.
Yeah, Angelina.
Hi, I'm Angelina Jaime, and my personal opinion about daylight savings is that although it could be beneficial for when we don't want to get out of bed and want to get that extra hour in just to sleep in, I do also think that it is an inconvenience because it does get dark early and causes people to sometimes miss some of their important things that they need to do. And it can be a hassle sometimes when you have to shift back an hour, and moving back the clock is also a hassle. it's just another thing that nobody really wants to deal with. But also then again, you do get an extra hour in for sleep. And I personally think that's great because nobody wants to get out of bed early. But yeah, that's my personal opinion. Thank you.
Is Jujar City.
Respected members of the school board, good evening, and congratulations to you, Trustee Hernandez. I'm glad this is one of the first public comments that you'll be hearing because my public comment is full of gratitude. It's good to see a lot of you again, especially you, Superintendent Thompson. Good to see you, sir. I'm very thankful for your collaboration. In the past, you have helped to deliver to our program's needs in the campus community and our local community. A lot of healthy changes happened on campus since our program started, and we hope that we can make it better. My name is Jujar Singh. I am a mental health professional and an academic researcher in the field of psychology. I'm also the Bay Area Regional Director of the CAD program, which is a substance prevention program funded by the state of California through taxpayer dollars. This program is a statewide program with teams of high school interns across the state. We have had a team of 10 high schoolers at James Logan High School for the last 3 years, and this year's team is present here today. This team focuses on harm reduction, peer education, and mental health collaboration within the student body at James Logan High School. I'm also thankful that that our superintendent has allowed for Narcan training to come on campus. I'm talking about Narcan, which is the opioid response training that prevents drug overdoses from happening. This training has been given to our students in the health program for the last 3 years, along with CPR training and mental health training. But in the last year, Narcan kits were brought to our James Logan High School campus in 3 different locations. And Principal Polk also held a Narcan awareness assembly and also offered Narcan training to the whole campus. This is tremendous. And I would like to thank the superintendent for delivering to that momentum on campus. I hope that we can further collaborate and bring better change for harm reduction and mental health on campus. And I hope this is something we can work on together. And the students will talk more about that and how we can do that. Thanks again, and here's to the future. Thank you.
Simran Gill.
Hello everyone, I'm Simran, 11th grader at James Logan. We are a part of a health and wellness program called CAD. CAD is a word that means to care for others and to make sure everyone is safe. In this internship, we have been doing community engagement, CPR training, Narcan training, site visits to health clinics, and collaborations with other organizations in these past 3 years. I would like to thank the school board for always hearing us, and specifically the superintendent for collaborating with our principal and bringing Narcan to our campus. We would love if you guys could collaborate more with us. We are trying to make a change on campus and also trying to help with mental health awareness and harm reduction. I would also like to thank the principal for working with the superintendent and bringing Narcan to campus, as well as offering training to everyone on campus during Red Ribbon Week. That's a huge deal to us, and we really appreciate it because, especially since we were the first students certified with Narcan on campus. I would like to inform you guys that we have been conducting community research and that my peers will be presenting the data that is very important to our campus and our community health. Thanks again for your support and alliance towards a healthier community, and hopefully you will find our research very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Aks Dhaliwal.
Hello everyone, my name is Aks Dhaliwal. I'm a junior at James Logan High School and also a member of the CARE program on campus. I'd like to express my sincere appreciation for the collaboration we have experienced with your board. I extend my gratitude to the superintendent for their cooperation in organizing the introduction of Narcan to our campus. I'd also like to acknowledge the admirable efforts of Principal Ron Polk, whose commitment to campus safety is evident in the provision of Narcan and the extensive training offered to all staff during Red Ribbon Week. This achievement holds significance to us as we are proud to be the first group of students certified with Narcan on our campus. Today, my fellow interns and I are privileged to present evidence-based community data collected during Red Ribbon Week. This data represents the most recent campus statistics within the state obtained through engagement with each faculty member on campus. This data was collected through surveying each one of our faculty members, which we did over the past few weeks. There were many notable findings that we found to be very important, which we are here to share with you today. Our data showed that 95% of our interviewed teachers expressed concerns regarding the tragic impact of drug usage on student health and learning outcomes. That means that 95% of the James Logan faculty think that the current use of substance is affecting student learning and learning outcomes on campus. In response to this pressing issue that we are all experiencing in our campus community, 70% of the faculty also expressed the need for additional substance-related training. We're happy to see that Narcan becomes so normalized on campus, but our teacher responses show that 78% of the faculty think more training is needed. The program members here with me today are Narcan and CPR trained, and our team has been that way for the last 3 years on campus. We would like to highlight a collective commitment for addressing the challenges posed by substance abuse on our campus, and we hope that our research shows you how important the problem of substance usage is on our campus for students and the faculty. Thank you for your attention to this matter. We look forward to the opportunity to discuss these findings in greater detail and hope to collaborate with you in the near future.
Thank you.
Next speaker. Next up is Jagdeep Sandhu.
Hi, my name is Jagdeep Sandhu. I'm a senior at James Logan High School. I'm involved in several student organizations on campus, including our CAB program, which focus on mental health, community health, and harm reduction. A lot of the faculty were open to collaborating with our research, and I hope that the school board will be open to hearing our data and acting on it too. After conducting our school-wide, faculty-wide survey, the results show 78% of school faculty report that the frequency of drug education on school is little to severely little. This shows that most teachers believe that drug education on campus is very minimal, some even calling it severely little. With 78% of our high school educators reporting that health education is little, I'm concerned about how we can work to solve this education problem. Our CAB program only educates us outside of school, so our team's adequately educated to understand substance use and mental health. But 78% of teachers report that the rest of campus is not getting the health education that they need. And I hope we can change that for the future. Also, our surveys show that only 19% of school faculty believe that drug education to be satisfactory on campus. This shows a small fraction of teachers are satisfied with the drug education on campus. Our research also shows that 95% of school faculty agree that drug usage is negatively affecting student health and learning outcomes. This shows that most faculty believe that drug usage is currently affecting student health negatively. Additionally, 78% of the faculty believe that they should receive additional substance-related training beyond what they currently have. This shows an overwhelming amount of faculty believe that they should receive additional training on substances and drug education. This data we collected since the beginning of the school year is important because it shows a need for health education, substance prevention, and better community health. This data stresses the importance of having further health training on our campuses. And we hope that you can change that for the betterment of our campus in the future. Thank you for your time.
As representatives from James Logan High School, we make up the Alameda County chapter of the California state-funded substance prevention program known to be CAD Youth and Health Wellness Program. Over the past 2 years, our dedicated group of 10 students, including myself, have not only woven our presence into the fabric of James Logan High School, but have also embraced in the spirit of collaboration by partnering with school administrations, the district school board, and local health clinics. Through tabling and surveying, we strive to foster a culture of well-being and substance prevention, nurturing a healthier tomorrow for our fellow students. Through our efforts, we aspire to establish a collaborative relationship with both our school administration and board members. Our research is valuable to the community because it provides valuable insights on the effects and consequences of different substances. It will help us develop prevention and treatment strategies to support those struggling with addiction. It's crucial for us to create a healthier tomorrow for everyone. Our research is to reduce the stigma surrounding addiction and promote the supportive and empathic community for those in need. I hope our numbers today show you the need for more health education on campus, and how our school faculty feel similar towards student health. Our reported data shows the majority agreement of school faculty towards the severe substance on campus, the need for more campus education, and the need for more faculty training on campus. I hope that you could all listen to us and collaborate on these efforts, making our campus community healthier and safer. I would also like to thank the board members for taking time out and listening to us. Not only that, but for taking the initiative on our needs and joining the efforts to make our student community educated and healthier. Thank you for your time. We hope to work with you more if you're willing to collaborate. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay,
No more off the agenda.
more off the agenda. Okay, then moving on to 8, hearing of visitors on topics on the agenda. How many speakers do we have?
We have 5 speaker parts.
5 speaker parts. Again, I'd like to let speakers know they'll be allowed a maximum of 2 minutes. And as a reminder, the board will not be interacting or commenting with the topics raised. Please call the first speaker.
First speaker is Christian Morales.
Good evening, how you doing? Thank you for letting me speak. My name is Christian Morales. I'm a Union City resident, an alumni of James Logan High School, Guy Emanuel, and Bernard White. You know, I'm part of Mission Valley Track and Field, certified coach. We're talking about the proposal for obtaining the legacy status. You know, I know last time, you know, we talked about different points. One of my points that I thought about after I spoke is there's not many propaganda to expose our club, you know, within our district, and that's why we don't have probably that 70%. You know, a lot of other sports get promoted more, and but through attraction to the athletes, you know, like we have a lot of athletes going to Junior Olympics that went this year. 41 of our athletes went to Junior Olympics. Our cross country season is almost ending. I know for sure we're gonna have a lot of athletes going to Junior Olympics too. That's when almost 100% that a lot of our athletes are going. One of them being my daughter, an alumni, and that actually attracts more kids to come to our club. You know, and one of the reasons why I'm still in Union City is because of this club. You know, this club helped me in high school when I was going through things, kept me out of trouble. You know, and it kept me in school, which is most important, right? So thank you for listening.
Next is Lisa Rodriguez.
Good evening. Congratulations, Trustee Hernandez. Good evening, everybody. And I just wanted to take a moment and say thank you for entertaining and going through with hopefully the adopting of the legacy groups. The one thing that I will ask for you to consider is when opening the window for these legacy groups to be able to submit their applications for consideration, to please consider keeping the window open a little longer than 3 weeks, perhaps maybe 4 to even 8. We must consider some of these groups are in off season, so they may not be as in touch with, you know, the day-to-day operations of the district as they normally would be. And also I'd like to thank you for passing this and entertaining this, because these groups, much like track and field and Union City National and some of these other Boy Scouts, we had a scout group top. They are community-based. They are the reason why a lot of these kids are able to get into after school programs that are affordable. And that's the key, and be able to have these families out there in the evenings to look at track meets and baseball and build that sense of community and camaraderie outside of the school. And that's something that is being lost. I feel like it's fading farther and farther away just because of financial resource. It's not attainable financially. A lot of our groups make it attainable, and by keeping these legacy groups and keeping the fees you know, down, it keeps us being able to service our community. So for that, I thank you, and please consider leaving the window open.
Next speaker.
Ann Chang. Go ahead. Sorry.
All right, good evening. My name is Ann Chang. I am a parent and also assistant coach with Mission Valley Track and Field. So today I'd like to share with you some of the good that I've seen out of this program for our athletes and also for our community. Mission Valley Track and Field Club is not just about the athletics, although it is great to see the kids being active after school, being outdoors, but it is also about things like positive, encouraging environment. having a positive, encouraging environment for our athletes, student athletes, is very important for their positive impact, as well as social and emotional development. Having to see kids not only just being encouraged, but also learning to encourage others, that has been really kind of like a joy to see. In addition, having the program be kind of almost like multi-generational, having alumni from Mission Valley Track and Field, alumni from this school district, alumni from James Logan High School, come back and dedicate their time. Like, for example, Coach Christian, Coach Winwin, Coach Matt, and some of these others who are here today, dedicate their time to this program, is also providing our kids positive role models to look up to. And then lastly is community. So not only do our kids see how we build community, but they learn firsthand how to do it. So we have our kids help us put on clinics, meets. We have parents, athletes, coaches, alumni all come together to do these activities. In addition, we also do holiday giving. This is helping others in need, and athletes, they come to and they experience what it means to help someone else who is in need. So with that, I want to say thank you to the board here for your continued support. Thank you for your consideration for legacy groups.
Next up is Lee Webb.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you, board, for taking time to evaluate how the process works. I know it took a lot of time. I've been waiting about 3 years. Been a lot of frustration on what was going to happen, so I think we're almost there. So I appreciate that. I just want to inform you a little bit more about the club. We talk about track and field, but like one of the coaches said, we do many other things. We cross country. This is the main. First year we really started cross country, which we don't need a facility for. We go to the different parks, but 100 kids, all ages, getting ready for the postseason. It's been great. So, we've got kids running from 3 years old all the way up to, like I said before, 90 years old at the last meeting. And holiday giving is starting up. So we go out to the community. I work with Central to Services and get names from him. That people in need. We took out 50 Christmas trees last year, helped them take Union City residents. My first focus here has always been Union City. The club started as Union City, working with James Logan High School so we could practice in the off season. And after time, different branches of help developed. We also have a mentorship program sponsored by USA Track and Field that I put into action for this year. That I have 2 coaches here who learn how to work with kids and coach as the season goes along. So there's many aspects of the program besides the winners or the track and field part. I just encourage you to look at the record boards out there. All of those people were James Logan High School athletes and Mission Valley Track and Field athletes. So we will do whatever we can to help the community. We give the scholarships out. At the scholarship, we have $3,000 in scholarships. I even gave out a couple, they needed college help, and I also helped them make sure they were enrolled in college. A couple Logan students, actually.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, next speaker, last speaker is Monique Dilly. Monique Dilly.
Good evening. I am new to Mission Valley, but the short time that I've been here, it's been about a month or so. It's been amazing. The coaches, the kids, it's like Coach Ann said, it's more than just running. They support each other, they teach each other teamwork, camaraderie, and it's more like surrogates to these kids. I mean, when I was growing up, I came from a single parent home. We couldn't afford different programs. This program, everybody can attend. Everybody can come in and take part of it. And that's very important for people who can afford it, people who can't afford it. And it includes everybody. And it makes a big difference. Society talks about, how important our children are. They need to stay out of trouble. This program helps them do that. It saves lives. Thank you for your time.
Thanks. Thanks to everybody who spoke tonight. Okay, moving to 9.1. Do we have a report from the CSEA president? Okay, seeing none. Do we have a report from the NHTA president?
Good evening, President Nishiara, Vice President Kumar, trustees. Welcome, new trustee Hernandez, student board, Dr. Thompson, staff, teachers, students and audience, members of the community in the gallery. Again, Joel Coyangelos, President New Haven Teachers Association. Some of the things we're working on with the district. There's a couple of things I'd like to mention. As you recall, as a result of a letter that we presented to you last year regarding our concerns about special ed services, I'm really pleased to say that the era of collaboration that was started during the pandemic, the advisory council that Dr. Thompson put together with us to help sort out some of the things that were affecting and impacting classrooms, that foundation of collaboration, which is what brought us here today on this whole thing. With a special letter, we have established again with the district a special ed advisory group. There will be ongoing conversations because we noticed that some of the conversations get lost in the heat of the year. So by having an ongoing monthly meeting on this topic, we think it will help resolve and remedy some of the situations that sometimes, again, doesn't get the attention it needs. So we're looking forward to that. In the spirit of that collaboration I just mentioned, we also just recently had technology conversation with John Meadows and Frank DeLapo and some of the teachers. As a result of the concern, as you know, technology changes all the time, and sometimes it loses in the whole process, the insight and the voice, those using the most. And so the teachers got together, had a little survey, and the survey brought out some good insight from all levels of our schools. That coalesced into a meeting with the district to talk about it. And it was a very insightful collaboration. That conversation was well received by the district. Frank DeLapo, the director of technology, was really kind of inspired to have this conversation ongoing because he thinks, as we know, technology changes all the time. And that's the conversation we need to make sure it works for everyone, especially those who are working it at the ground level, so to speak. And then with that same idea of collaboration and discussion, recently the New Haven Teachers Association passed a district resolution regarding grading policy. The policy is sound, but in our conversation, we found out some of the administrative regulations need to be relooked and revised for some of the concerns that are facing. How do we implement some of those structures and strategies of the grading policy? We recently had a meeting with the district again, and it was a very successful and enlightening meeting for that consideration. We look forward again to going on that conversation to make sure that how we implement policy, which is always a hard thing, that it hits the mark that we want into policy, which is a very sound policy, but it has some things that we think where it can be enhanced or improved upon, so to speak, in the administrative regulations of that. And lastly, New Haven Teachers Association kind of sponsored a series of workshops on LGBTQIA awareness for the last couple of months. Those workshops ended beginning of this month, and it was shared with all staff, both NHTA, CSA, and NHAA, which is the Administrative Association, to enjoy and get a view of the awareness on that area. And we look forward to that. And again, because of the things that was started by Trustee Mel, former Trustee Mel, the LGBT conversation and the flying of the flag is one kind of awareness that we hope to consider and keep going for supportive students that have that kind of need and understanding. And as you know, right now, we're in the middle of Trans Awareness Week. So we look forward to continuing that was started, and look forward to this ongoing collaboration with the district in different areas of the school. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to 10.1, presentation on proposed changes to the district's process for use of facilities and grounds. Staff will present an overview of changes with respect to the use of district facilities and grounds. These changes are results of an engagement process the district has conducted in the last few months. taking into account public input and direction from the board.
Good evening. Is it on?
Do I need a microphone?
Okay, all right, well, Superintendent Thompson and trustees, good evening. And guests, I know we have a couple of folks who are here for this topic. My name is Danette Heldman. I am the district's chief business officer. So on this item, let me make sure it works. Okay, so I'm going to provide an overview of the work that actually started a couple of months ago with regards to making necessary changes based on feedback with regards to the processes that we use for our facilities and grounds uses with our community. So what I'm going to be covering are the things that actually changed or enhanced or improved, if I may. So on the board or on the screen are the way that we recategorize our user groups, the way that we streamlined and made simple the fee structure. We have finalized or completed the brand new, although a lot of it is really just codifying the things that we've been doing, some practices, and making clarifications on certain areas of our facility use handbook. And as you heard from speakers tonight, a process that we are proposing in terms of recognizing groups that we have been working with for years who have been serving our school-age kids in New Haven in our community. So as I said, one of those things, the way that we categorize our group classifications, trying to simplify in terms of what it looked like before and what the finished product is. We changed from having 3 groups to 4 groups. We have an exhibit in the handbook that explains and describes what each category defines. There's no, okay, go ahead. As I said, there's an exhibit that actually further defines what those 4 new categories are. We can go back to the presentation. Similarly, I wanted to show what it used to be in terms of the fee structure and what is being proposed, what it would look like. Next slide, please. So in the old fee structure, there was a lot, right, of different components of it. One of the many things that we try to accomplish is actually having a simplified rate, a flat amount. This would accomplish a lot of things in terms of the groups. You know, when they walk away, they know exactly. I mean, especially for those who fall under 2 or 3 and 4, they would walk away knowing what they would be paying or what the invoice would look like. It would also help our staff at the corporation yard in terms of the processes that they have to follow. So this is one of the changes that we did. Of course, now that we have 4 groups, the fee structure also would mirror what those 4 groups are. And therefore, we have now in terms of the rates, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And again, these are defined in the handbook. And you know, the previous meetings that we've had explaining what these different groups are, it explains in terms of what that would look like in terms of the fees and who falls into what categories. I skipped, but you can go back to the final fee schedule, which is actually the second one, but it's a much clearer way to follow in terms of what those fees could look like. Like I said, a flat amount in terms of those who would have to pay labor costs, and just a more streamlined way of reading what that fee structure would look like and the different components of it. And of course, a full handbook that describes the process by which folks need to apply to use our grounds and facilities. This handbook includes all the different components that I've addressed and talked with and shown that we've received testimonials and feedback from community and directions from the board. So these are the finished products of what those are. And in a later part of the agenda, I believe it's item 13.4, the board will be asked to adopt the handbook and approve these proposals. One note, as I heard one of our speakers in terms of the timeline, that really has to do with I would say a targeted board meeting date in terms of bringing MOUs forward. But definitely it is up to the board in terms of how that timeline should look like. And I believe that covers my presentation. That concludes the item.
Okay. Are there any questions from anybody on the board? Vice President Kumar, please.
So first of all, I wanted to thank you for all the hard work. I know there's been multiple iterations. We really appreciate your patience. I have a few questions. I was present at the public hearing. And there were some specific issues that came up that I just want to make sure we've addressed. So I know there was Mission Valley Track and Field. They had concerns about the 70% NHUSD enrollment. And then there was North Coast Grapplers, their name changed over the past few years. So I'm seeing the legacy application, and it seems like there's a part where they can explain if there's a reason the criteria are not met. Is that addressing those two groups for that part?
Yes,
Possibly.
oh, yes, sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yes, that would allow we have groups that have been in our community, have been servicing our community for that actually would meet almost all of those criteria. And we wanted to be able to recognize that work by creating a pathway and be able to continue working with those groups. And that's why we made it that way.
That's great. And then I know there were some scout troops that called in during that meeting, and there was someone who presented as well. And they wanted some clarity on the restroom fees. And I think I see that there have been changes here. I guess the only thing I'm wondering is it says if outside the normal operating hours, is it possible to specify what those operating hours are right there?
Sure.
So that it's
Oh,
very clear.
in the schedule?
If
It varies by site.
It varies by site. So at the elementary school, we don't have custodians on the weekends, for example. They typically are from, Jason, help if I'm making a mistake here, it's either from 6 to 10 or 7 to 10.
Okay.
6 to 10. And yeah, so it varies depending on the facility that's being rented.
I see. Okay.
So if it's at an elementary school site and it's on a Saturday, then we wouldn't have staff there.
that
Then
makes
the minimum 2 hours would be applicable.
Is there a place where that information sits?
It's
our handbook?
in the
or-
handbook.
Okay, so by site.
Yes, it's in the handbook. I mean, these hours may change as well.
Right, so
And so we've seen where we would have a Saturday route at the high school, meaning a staff on a Saturday, and sometimes that changes depending on a lot of different things. So what we said in the handbook is it's typically from 6 to 10.
Okay.
But yeah, and of course, we would have staff to entertain those questions. We don't expect this to be just foolproof. Everything's just gonna go seamlessly. We have folks to be able to answer that. But we're there. We can work a lot of these things through.
Right, I appreciate that. And then UC Dirt Bags had some concerns with field maintenance not being done except when IVC has their softball team sessions. Is that something we
Is that the field in front of the? Yeah, we've actually we're how do I do this? We're rerouting the things that we are doing in terms of scheduling the different fields that we have, right, Jason? Yes.
Yeah, that's terrific. And then the one other question I had is what happens to groups that have already applied for this academic year? Do we have a process in place to kick in the new rates now for them?
How does that work? If it
Yeah.
goes for approval tonight?
We didn't get a chance to talk about this.
Yeah.
We would, moving prospectively forward, these would be in effect. So
Okay.
we would, if somebody had paid for the whole year, we would prorate it based on the prospective moving forward. So they would be, I'm not too sure how it would work exactly, but they're effective. If the board approves these tonight, they're effective moving here forward. So if somebody paid for the year, we would go back and make them whole if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
I think yeah.
Sorry,
So
you and I did not get a chance to talk.
yeah. So if there is a permit right now that
right.
crosses this timeline, which is
Right.
tonight's approval. I think what I'm hearing is what has happened already happened, but the rest of those permit dates will be we will be applying these new things to the rest of those permit dates that haven't taken place yet.
I see. And does the district plan on reaching out to these groups or?
We have been reaching out to these groups to make sure that they are aware of these things that are evolving, and we will definitely. In fact, we already have created the application form that reflects the criteria. We already have, like I said, we even set a timeline. We already have prepared the letter, that we would be sending out confirming whether they are approved or not. So we're looking ahead in terms of the next steps in the process.
I see. And then the very last thing, I would actually like to second community member Lisa Rodriguez's suggestion about extending the application period if it's possible to more than 3 weeks. Let's just do that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say when we get to item 13.4, if that could be please clarified on what those dates would be prior to taking action.
What we can do is we can have that conversation here and I can amend it. I can amend the motion based on the conversation here in this action item. So any further questions from anyone else?
I have a question.
Yes.
Earlier you had mentioned the reasoning for the 2-week window is because of the MOU.
I think it's almost a 4-week window. I kind of threw away the week of Thanksgiving because people are busy. They're not thinking about use of facilities during Thanksgiving week. So I started the Monday after Thanksgiving week and almost 4 weeks from that. And again, because I was trying to target the first board meeting in a January 16th board meeting, because there are MOUs that would need to be worked through. But like I said, it's when we get to 13.4, we will do as board directed.
All right, trustee, your thoughts?
Yeah, I know what a lot of community groups, what they think they belong, what group they belong in, as far as the rates go. So where does Mission Valley fall under? What group would they fall?
We haven't started the application process, but they do, I mean.
Technically, I can answer that. They would fall without, if they were not part of the legacy group, they would fall in group 2. And then if I'd be very surprised if
they don't meet criteria.
Apply for legacy status and weren't granted legacy status, but if they qualify for legacy status, they'd be falling in group 1.
Right. So, and again, like you said, those who meet the criteria would essentially be treated as school programs, which is group 1.
Any further questions? All right, I'd like to also echo Vice President Kumar and community member Lisa Rodriguez's comment on extending the time. So that's the first thing. But the second thing I have is around the updating of the handbook. So right now this handbook is written and it's approved. What is your idea in terms of keeping this up to date? Is it an annual basis? Is it a as needed basis? And what is your idea for keeping this up to date? So for example, there are people's names in here on contacts for specific things. I would imagine that at some point, the people whose names are in the handbook are going to move on or retire or whatever. So what is the idea for keeping this up to date?
It would make sense to make changes as needed.
Okay.
Whether it's change of personnel, whether there's a change in law or change in, any recommendations from higher oversight agencies.
And then the question that I have, and I don't actually know the answer to this, so maybe the superintendent can help. Is that something that requires board action, or is that something that can be done through the superintendent's office?
Yeah.
Directly, if we needed to make changes.
It really depends. If it affects board policy, that's something the board would do. If it's a matter of just kind of operational change, that's something we would just do internally.
Like changing name.
Yeah, maybe our locking system, the way we open buildings, close it. Maybe we don't have sound control anymore, that kind of thing. So we would do that without.
Right. Non-substantive changes, we probably don't need to bring to the board.
Got it. As long as it's consistent with board policy.
Right.
Okay. Great. Then I guess we can have the discussion now about what is an appropriate timeline greater than 4 weeks that we have right now. What is your recommendation for extending that a little bit longer?
Then that would push us to, I don't have the board meeting dates in front of me.
It'd be good to, I think what would drive it more than anything would be spring sports.
Okay.
So we want to get it all wrapped up. So we would have to allow for a reasonable period for people to apply. And then we would have to have the board approve them, and then we would go through the process of negotiating MOUs with each of those legacy groups. So that could take some time. Let's see, so baseball season usually starts, spring sports usually start at the end of January. So we would really want to probably have the board approve legacy group status at the first board meeting on the 16th in January. That would give us time to negotiate MOUs and get them to the board because the board would have to approve them. We'd be into February at that point, but I don't know how we could avoid that anyway, so.
So what would the recommended window be changed to?
I think if we had, let's see it, trustee or Alderman, when were you proposing?
The dates there were, it opens November 27, which is when we're back from Thanksgiving, and it closes December 21. So that's almost not quite a 4-week.
We could move it into, we would bring this to the board in January. And our meeting is on the 16th. So we need a little bit of time, probably.
Maybe open it for 8 weeks. I mean, just double it.
Yeah, I mean, we would reach out to any spring sport groups and encourage them to get their applications in early, because the only risk we run is if we went 8 weeks, we would run the risk of not having an MOU in place for the spring sports seasons. And we have baseball and track, obviously, for those. So I would say probably having, somewhere around the 10th of January, if they were due then, that would give us just enough time to get them on the board agenda for the board meeting on the 16th.
That's just approval of the groups that meet criteria.
That's right.
That's not the MOU.
That's right.
Okay. So then okay, so right now it's 4 weeks. So did you say that
the 10th of January is what I'm looking at, less in terms of weeks and more in terms of how we structure around board meetings, and so that would be the 10th of January is, let's see, that would be, let me go back here to where we're at. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It'd be about almost 7 weeks.
7 weeks. Okay. We'll just make a change real quick.
We need the day of January 10th.
January 10th, ending it.
Yeah, I would close end of work day on January 10th.
Okay. Okay. Great. Any further discussion on this item? Okay. Great, thanks very much. All right. Moving on to 11.1, items from the superintendent, items from the board and superintendent. Who'd like to go? Who'd like to start? Do the students want to start? Yes. Okay. Then trustee Hernandez. Or if you'd like to, you can maybe sit this one out. Maybe would you like to address during this item? Do you have anything that you'd like to bring up to the board? Yeah. Okay, go for it.
I just want to say I am extremely appreciative of this time, of this opportunity, and I'm really excited to get to work and continue the work.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Hernandez. Trustee Rafe.
Yes. I'd like to welcome trustee Hernandez, and I would also like to share basically like Islamophobia, as you're aware about the current situation. The Islamophobia is on the rise, and my high schooler has firsthand experienced it in our school district on Monday, November 6th. Anti-Semitism and Islamophobia has no place in our schools. Every child has a right to practice the faith and carry it with pride. No Jewish or Christian or Muslim or Hindu or Sikh or Buddhist or whatever faith they choose to practice, they should be honored. The name of our school starts with New Haven, and we will make sure that our schools are a haven for our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep, Trustee Gonzalez.
Yeah, just like to welcome Trustee Hernandez. Welcome. I'm really excited you're on our board. A fresh start. We have a lot going on at the end of the year. We have our trainings going on, the California School Board Association trainings happening. Definitely make sure you attend those. I don't have anything really significant to report at this time, other than this. That I've been talking with as far as the grading system goes on within our district. It's a lot different than elementary. I'm an elementary school teacher, and I also had an IEP going through schools, and it was individualized, and so there was modifications made for me. And to my understanding, with our new grading system, that some students are gaming the system there. Like the modifications that I had, the extra time, the certain environment, when I took my test, should not be, I put a lot of work in that. I mean, failure after failure, meeting with parents, or, and for that to be offered to all students, some students are going to be gaming the system and just to get a better grade. And that is not fair. And so I'm not in a place to talk about high school. High school should be graded like this system. How I grade for my students is by standard. And I do accept late work. We're in a COVID or post-COVID, kids get sick. In my community where I teach at, we have transient kids. And so they have to go with their parents, and they might be gone for a month or more, and they do need to make up their work. I'm proposing that we have a committee that looks at that whether based on departments in the high school on grading system or whatever it is, but I am not in that place. We should have a committee that looks at our grading system, that looks at our policy. So that's all I have.
Vice President Kumar.
First off, I'd like to welcome Trustee Hernandez. Trustee Hernandez is not new to New Haven, only new to the school board, and it's always wonderful to have one of our students come back and serve here, like Trustee Gonzalez. So it's great to have you. I'm excited and look forward to working with you. Secondly, I'd like to thank the community and the teachers for taking the time and making it to my chat with your trustee sessions. It's been really nice getting to know the community and hearing what they have to say. And I have to give a huge shout out to Superintendent Thompson for engaging through that medium. And it's been really nice having these conversations back and forth. And lastly, many of our families celebrated Diwali this past week. I did too with my family. And I just wanted to share that Diwali signifies the victory of good over evil. So I'd just like to end my update by hoping that in your lives, I hope good always triumphs over evil always. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So welcome, Trustee Hernandez. Looking forward to working with you and learning from you. So on October 27th, I attended the Cybersecurity Summit put on by Congressman Swalwell's office at Las Positas College. Thank you to district staff, Frank, for joining me. I learned a lot and looked at a lot of interesting vulnerabilities that a lot of people don't necessarily think about. So it'd be good to kind of weigh in and see if we can do everything that we can to keep our students' data safe, and also to mitigate the risk of ransomware attacks that can sometimes take public agencies down for quite a bit of time. So I learned a lot. Looking forward to going to CSBA at the end of November, and continue to learn about governance and board policy. That concludes my report.
Okay, just a couple things for me. This time of year is always when we end fall sports seasons, and we've had all of our teams, cross country, volleyball, are all making their way towards the end of the season, perhaps most notably or visibly with our football team losing to De La Salle again on Friday night. Game was a lot closer than the score looked, but anyway, it's all of our athletes had a really good season. So winter sports is here, and we're moving forward with that. I'd like to thank President Couliangelo for his remarks. He highlighted several areas that we are really working with to collaborate with NHTL on, including the grading work at the high school. And that's been a very productive, positive collaboration. We look forward to continuing that. So thank you, President Angeles, for your remarks. Let's see. And I'd like to welcome Trustee Hernandez. It's going to be great working with you. Looking forward to that. And lastly, I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving recess next week. So that's it.
Okay, great, thanks. All right, moving on to committee reports. 12.1 report from the Communication and Advocacy Committee. We've had a meeting since our last week now.
Thursday, the 16th.
There's a
Next meeting at 4:30.
this Thursday is there. Yes. All right. 12.2 report from the Finance, Technology, and Facilities Committee.
No, we don't meet till January.
Okay.
After the governor's budget comes in.
Okay. All right. Moving on to 12.3, report from the Policy Review Committee.
We have a meeting scheduled for Thursday.
Okay. And then 12.4, other committee reports.
So RFP did not have a meeting this month. We began our next meeting December 7th.
Okay. December 7th. Gotcha. All right. Moving on to 3.1, may I get a motion and a second to approve resolution number 0242324, Board of Trustee absence from meeting due to hardship, authorization to pay, Schwen Mallory.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Abstentions. Motion carries. All right, moving on to 13.2, may I get a motion and a second to approve the increase of long-term and daily substitute rate of pay?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Abstentions. Motion carries. All right, 13.3 memorandum. May I get a motion and a second to approve a memorandum of understanding with the University of Southern California, USC, beginning 23-24.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Abstentions. Motion carries. All right, 13.4, may I get a motion and a second to approve the district's facility use process, staff's proposal for obtaining legacy status, fee schedule, and to adopt the use of school facilities and grounds handbook, changing the end date of the legacy application period to end January 10th.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Yes.
I'm sorry, was the motion tailored for the extension, and then
Yes.
we make the adjustment on that?
Yeah. Okay, all right, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Abstentions, motion carries. Okay, 13.5, may I get a motion and a second to approve a memorandum of understanding with Amor Sports for 23-24.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Abstentions, motion carries. All right, may I get a motion and a second to approve the purchase of Flyleaf Publishing Reading Series materials for kindergarten K2 TWDL at Emmanuel and 2 various second grade classrooms?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Yes.
Yeah, that I use this website daily. It's the University of California Literacy Institute. It's pretty amazing. I use it for all my groups, and so yeah.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Abstentions? Motion carries. Are there any items from the consent calendar that any board member would like to pull for a separate vote? Okay. May I get a motion and a second to approve items 14.1 to 14.27?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, moving on to 16.1, skipping 15. Assessment of governance procedures and protocols. Any comments? Yes.
Oh, it would have been nice to if fellow board members could set up some words for former trustee Schwinn Mallory at the end. So that would
Okay.
I mean, I had my closure with her. I was the only one that. Yeah.
Okay. All right, moving on to 17.1, any board member requests for staff? Okay. Seeing no further business, we're adjourned.
Okay.